By the authority vested in me, I hereby declare this meeting of the Conshohocken Borough Council duly open and ready to conduct any business that may come before it. Ms. Checker, if you could do a roll call.
Councilmember Totino.
Present.
Councilmember Griffin.
Here.
Councilmember Kingsley.
Here.
Councilmember Barton.
Here.
Councilmember Stokely.
Here.
Vice President Sokolowski.
Here.
President Leonard.
Here.
Mayor Aronson.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Sokolowski, if you could do a prayer for council. If you
Sure.
could all
Everyone,
rise.
please rise. O divine Master, in deep humility, we place ourselves, our thoughts, and our plans in thy hands. We beg thee to fill our minds with and our wills with the gifts of wisdom, understanding, counsel, fortitude, knowledge, and piety. Help us not to think of self or personal desires, but rather consider the responsibilities laid upon us. Help us to promote, as far as possible, the welfare of our people and to treat them with impartiality and justice. Grant us the power to set a good example in thought, word, and deed, so that thy blessings will be showered upon us and the people we represent. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda this evening is under presentations. It is the recognition of Robert Stokely and James Ike Griffin for their years of service. Mr. Stokely is 20 years of service and Ike is 16. I would like to thank them both for their service all these years. It is just amazing to me that both of you have done this for so long. Your dedication to the borough, your service to the borough, and I know just for this council now, the guidance and wisdom that we have gained just from serving with you in the short amount of time that we've been on is irreplaceable. So I'm going to say thank you for myself, for Tina, all of council, Mayor Aronson, and our administration. And with that, we'll do the presentation of awards, of plaques. So the first plaque is for James Ike Griffin for outstanding service and dedication to the Borough of Conshohocken as an elected member of Borough Council. Ike, if you could come up, please, from 2005 to 2021.
What did you guys do? Thank you. We did a lot of great things, Borough and County.
Yes, we did. We
Keep
sure
up the
did.
good things. Thank you. I want to thank all you for helping me and Bob keep Conshohocken going in the right direction. And I would no other place I'd rather be than in Conshohocken. We're going in a lot more bigger places. So I hope all you guys keep up the good work. And if you need me, just give me a call. And thank you all.
The second plaque is in recognition for Robert Stokely for outstanding service and dedication to the Borough of Conshohocken as an elected member of the Borough Council from 2001 to 2021. Thank you, Bob. Come on up.
This plaque on behalf of the borough and all of the staff. I can't even tell you how much you've brought to the borough as a leader and for our community, and we'll continue to honor what you've set forth with and continue to really champion the things that you've done with our parks and our kids. So thank you very much for all that you've done for the community, and you're still going to be around, so we'll see you.
Well, it's been a long time. I'd just like to say that I came across the bridge 40 years ago from Philadelphia, and I went to West Conchi first, and I saw a lot of development there. I got to know all the chiefs of police in Millhouse, Slater, Claiborne, and they were good friends of mine. And then I came to Conshohocken, and I'll tell you what a great run it was to see all the development, all the stuff we approved. And I came from a neighborhood that was broken. All the factories closed. And when I came to Conshohocken, it looked like that's what was happening here. And to the redevelopment started and the buildings started to be built, you can do a lot of things with the revenue that comes in from the buildings. And that's what made West Conshohocken and Conshohocken great little boroughs. And I want to thank all my residents. I want to thank all my friends that were loyal to me all the years that I served. And I want to thank my wife especially for all the times I wasn't home and all the good things that she always stood in my corner for me. So I want to thank her very much. Thank you.
Ike and Bob, in addition to the plaques that we presented you with tonight, we wanted to say we also are going to be putting up benches in honor of both of your contributions in your designated parks in the Borough of Conshohocken, and that'll be done in the spring when the weather changes. But we wanted to make sure that we honored all the contributions you've brought to our community and being champions for our community.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We're going to do some pictures.
Come back again.
All of council right in front of the seal. Yes. With Bob and I in the middle.
Yes.
Bob, are you telling Tina and Kathy to go on the card? Everybody good? All right, and then if you can do a hand check with both gentlemen, if his family's in there.
Thank you.
Now take your mask down.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good?
Good.
Okay.
And I want to thank all the council and the past council and our present council. Thank you, and the borough family, thank you very much.
Get back to the board.
Yep.
No pressure, Bob.
We'll give that to Ike first.
Thank you.
next item under presentations is recognition of 2021 fire stipend receipts. Ray and Tim, if you could come up, please.
This evening, it's going to be just Mr. Gunning, the fire chief.
Thank you, Mr. Gurney.
First of all, Mike, Bob, thank you from the fire
You're
department.
welcome, Tim.
Great,
Thank you.
yes. Okay, so 2021 was another successful year for the fire department. We continue to train on the water rescue, high-rise firefighting, ropes, rigging, anything that I put in front of these guys, they accomplish. I can't thank them enough. So this year we had 25 participants in the stipend program, and it's great, 25 members. So how the stipend program works is that it's based on a point system, and a fire call is 1 point, training 2 points, duty crews at the station, you get points for that, and if you're the driver of the apparatus for the duty crew, you get more points for being the driver. So this year, 25 members. Some members, well, one member, 900 points. I mean, it's dedication. That's a lot of points, a lot of time. So I'll go through the list, and again, it was great, and I'd like to thank council for allowing this program to happen. It's very successful in the fire department and brings in new members. We got approximately 10 to 12 new members over the last 2 years. So COVID kind of helped us. Ian Ashmore, Nate Bartholomew, Carol Davis, Dan Costello, John Costello, Leo Costello, a lot of Costellos, Robert Curl, Gary Davis, Kristen Davis, George Dietzel, Chris Dixon, John Droz, Ed Dunn, Drew Ingerston, Gus Kemp, Dave Murphy, Calvin Perlman, Bob Phipps, Bridget Reed, Tom Sesko, Liam Schrader, Ray Tagnon, Taylor Verbickus, Dave Young, and Mike Yingling. And there's some paperwork that goes with this because we audit every quarter just to make sure the numbers match. So I'd like to thank Dana Curl and Elizabeth Droz for doing that work. And the top points were Drew Ingerston, 900 points. Dan Costello and Robert Curl tied for second place, 847 points each. Calvin Perlman, 831. Chris Dixon, 825. Ed Dune and Tom Sesko, 799. And Nate Bartholomew, 794. And this year's awards, we give them for being in the top finals, like the top 5, but there were some ties. They'll get an all-weather 3-season jacket with the Borough emblem. But again, I'd like to thank you guys for making this happen. And on behalf of the fire department, Merry Christmas. Oh, Happy Holidays.
The next item on the agenda is land use matters, public hearings, and ordinances. Ms. Checo?
Thank you, President Leonard. At the December 1st, 2021 meeting, we went through, Mr. Gibbons is here as well, a presentation regarding refinancing options that are available to the borough based off of our current general obligation notes. The gist of the summary of that presentation was that the options that were in front of you would save you approximately $176,000 annually budgeted debt service funds. Reminder that that is budgeted numbers because the interest rates they change. This evening in front of you is the actual motion to adopt Ordinance 7 of 2021, which authorizes the incurrence of debt by the issuance of the $7,067,000 principal amount general obligation note Series A of 2022, which is tax exempt, and the issuance of the $1 million $28,000 principal amount general obligation note Series B of 2022, which is federally taxable, for the purpose of providing funds to fund a refinancing project and authorizing all other necessary actions in connection therewith. The two institutions that we will be utilizing moving forward are Phoenixville Federal Bank and Trust and Truist Bank. Chris, is there anything else that I've missed? No. No? All good. Thank you very much for helping us through that process and getting us to this point. So at this point, Mr. Peters, anything else that you need to add?
No, that's it. Thank you, Steph.
I would just need a motion to adopt Ordinance 7, 2021.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
For this particular motion, ordinance, I believe we need a roll call vote.
Correct.
Thank you, Steph. If you could do that.
So we have a motion and a second. Councilmember Totino.
Yes.
Councilmember Griffin.
Yes.
Councilmember Kingsley.
Yes.
Councilmember Barton.
Yes.
Councilmember Stokely.
Yes.
Vice President Sokolowski.
Yes.
And President Leonard.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. We're all good with signatures? Okay, awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
We will sign a bunch of documents afterwards. Okay. The next item on the agenda is to consider authorizing advertisement of an ordinance amendment to establish animal control regulations. This has been on your agenda numerous times over the course of the 2021 fiscal year. We've received concerns and complaints from our constituents as it pertained to animal control for feral cat population in particular. Those concerns were coordinated and consolidated into a proposed amendment change. They were presented to council. We got a lot of feedback from the community. We had public input at a public meeting. We took those concerns and questions and re-presented to you at the 12/1/2021 meeting a revised ordinance. This evening it is in front of you to authorize advertisement, meaning that that ordinance will then be advertised to the public, and it will be back on an agenda on January 19th, 2022 for consideration to adopt. Council have any questions or concerns?
No.
Okay, and I'm just reiterating that at this point, that ordinance, if approved this evening, would be publicized for public review and then back on an agenda for an official vote in January. So if so inclined, the motion would be to authorize advertisement of an ordinance amendment to establish animal control regulations.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second Sokolowski.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is to consider authorizing advertisement of an ordinance amendment to establish to-go parking spaces within the borough. This ordinance was worked through specifically with council and the parking task force. It establishes 15-minute to-go orders, only parking spaces between 1st and 2nd on Fayette Street, between Fayette and Harry on East 1st Ave, and between 2nd and 3rd on Fayette Street. And this is aligned with the businesses' requests that was reviewed by the Parking Task Force as it pertains to their changed business model due to COVID, where they see an uptick in the need to provide to-go orders to sustain their business, and it's basically become part of their business model, and they're looking to continue it. So we did multiple trial periods. We received no complaints. We only received requests for that to continue from the business district. So this evening, again, it's a motion to authorize advertisement, and it'll be back on your agenda in January for consideration to adopt.
I'll make that motion to clean up.
I'll second Griffin.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is the ordinance, the authorization to advertise the ordinance amendment to clarify the fire services personnel. As everyone knows, we've done due diligence over the course of the last 3 years as it pertains to the fire departments. We now have a fire services agreement that is in place. As Chief Gunning illustrated this evening, we have a plethora of individuals that are participating and dedicating their time and service to the Borough of Conshohocken. The ordinance amendment in front of you simply captures the chain of command and illustrates the addition of the battalion chief position. This again was discussed and reviewed by council at the 12-1 Borough Council meeting. It's in front of you this evening to authorize advertisement, and it will be back in front of you in January for adoption. If so inclined, I would need a motion to authorize advertisement.
I'll make that motion, Barton.
Second.
Second, Mr. Griffin. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is to authorize advertisement of an amendment to the borough's solid waste ordinance, again as discussed on December 1st. The borough is a recipient of the DEP 902 recycling grant. A stipulation of the grant is that we updated our recycling and waste ordinance. As everyone recalls, we also introduced new trash receptacles through coordination with our Public Services Department and Divot, our insurance carrier. So the ordinance that was discussed on 12-1 reflects those changes and updates our policies and procedures and operations as it pertains to solid waste collection. So in front of you this evening is consideration to authorize advertisement. And again, like the previous advertisements, this will be back in front of you in January for consideration. If so inclined, I would need a motion to authorize advertisement of the amendment to the Borough Solid Waste Ordinance.
I'll make that motion, Sokolowski.
I'll second it, Tutino.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, President Leonard.
The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. We have 4 items specifically this evening for the consent agenda. I will read all 4 and then individually ask for motions for them all. So they are approve and adopt the November 3rd and November 17th regular meeting minutes and the November 3rd special meeting minutes. The second item is approve the November ending treasurer's report and accounts payable. The third is approve and adopt the fiscal year 2022 budget. And the fourth is approve resolution 20-21-31 to levy real estate tax for 2022 and fix the rate thereof. So the first item I would be asking council to consider and have a motion is to approve and adopt the November 3rd and November 17th regular meeting minutes and the November 3rd special meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion and my last motion.
Thank you, Bob.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The next item, if council is so inclined, is a motion to approve the November ending treasurer's report and accounts payable in the amount of $1,616,774.15.
I'll make that motion, Sokolowski.
I'll second, Kingsley.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The third item is a motion to approve and adopt the fiscal year 2022 budget.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. The last item is a motion to approve and adopt Resolution 2021-31 to levy real estate tax for the 2022 and fix the rate at 4.5 mils.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Griffin.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Just to clarify, the 4.5 mils is no change. There is no tax increase in the 2022 borough budget.
Thank you, Steph. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business, and I will turn that over to Ms. Checo.
Thank you, President Leonard. The item in front of you for consideration is advertisement of the 2022 meeting schedules for boards and commissions and Borough Council. Borough Council will continue to meet on the first and third Wednesday of every month. The proposed schedule includes the reorg meeting in January, which is scheduled for January 3rd at 7 p.m. There will not be a work session in January on January 5th. There also will not be a work session in July due to the 4th of July holiday. And the proposed schedule includes two special budget meetings, a capital and operational budget meeting in September, and the presentation of the proposed 2023 budget in November. The EAC will continue to meet on the third Thursday of every month. The Marywood Park Commission will continue to meet on the second Monday of every month. Note that the October meeting falls on a holiday and will therefore be removed from the schedule. And the Planning Commission will continue to meet on the second Thursday of every month. So if so inclined, I would need a motion to approve and authorize advertisement of the 2022 meeting schedules, and they will be advertised leading into the 2022 fiscal year.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Under new business, we have consider approving 385 East Hector Financial Security Escrow Release, which is a final escrow release in the amount of $9,040.70.
I'll make that motion. Sokolowski?
I'll second it, Griffin.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
We have a plethora of zoning application escrow releases, so I'm going to read through each address and the amount and then ask for one motion, and this is year-end administrative tie-up items. So 331 West 7th in the amount of $133.78, 824 Fayette in the amount of $741.41, 101 East 7th Ave in the amount of $741.41, 900 Fayette Street in the amount of $880.72, 450 Caldwell Lane in the amount of $286.89, 728 Maple Street in the amount of $53.86, 1023 Fayette Street in the amount of $701.21, Sora West in the amount of $1,043.40, and then the 200 block of Washington Street in the amount of $3,709.95. If so inclined, I would need a motion to release, understanding that there will be interest earned included in the final release.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is consideration to dissolve the Dog Park Advisory Committee. The Dog Park Advisory Committee was instituted and developed by Borough Council specifically to transition the dog park, which was run by a nonprofit group of residents with the goal of transitioning the dog park from an outside entity operation to a borough-run operation. I think that I am understating the amount of work that the committee put in over the course of many, many years, and a huge thank you to Marissa Buck in particular, and all of the committee members for their dedication and service to the borough and the dog park. During their meeting last week, we did communicate to them the intent of council to dissolve the dog park. We urged all of them to look at our current vacancies, and that I would be reaching out to them individually to encourage them to continue their dedication and their service to the borough. We have numerous vacancies where we need people to volunteer. So, they had a good chuckle when I mentioned I'd be reaching out to them individually. Bottom line is the Dog Park Committee has successfully met the goal and objectives of the commission that council set out for them to do. I think it's very impressive to have watched the transition of the committee from its beginning until where we sit today. And I think in speaking with Marissa specifically, she's ready to turn the reins over. The dog park is completely in the fold of the overall park operation from a public services perspective. It is also completely under the management of Lauren Irizarry in terms of memberships and policies. And that's a big thanks to the committee and really working hand in hand with the borough to get it to where they wanted it to be. There were board members, there were actual park members at the meeting last week that were present. We indicated to them that the borough would be rebuilding the dog park after it was destroyed due to Storm Ida. There was a lot of good questions and some good feedback, and we look to continue that interaction between the community and the borough as we move forward. So we're in a good place, and in front of you this evening is to officially approve Resolution 2021-32, which will dissolve the Dog Park Advisory Committee.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is to consider approving Resolution 2021-33, which would formally dissolve the Parking Task Force. Much like the Dog Park Advisory Committee, the Parking Task Force was created specifically with the intent to have a group of residents and business owners who would get together collectively over the course of the year and evaluate parking issues and/or concerns that either Borough Council was dealing with, or if we had many complaints from residents, and have them work through those issues and present recommendations to council for consideration. The Parking Task Force has worked hand in hand with council over the course of the last 2 years. It was specifically set out to be a task force, with the main intent being assisting and providing some guidance and some input as it related to the commercial district, as a large majority of the large construction projects were ongoing. The meetings of the Parking Task Force were efficient and successful. I think that the results kind of speak for themselves between the Parking Task Force's recommendations and Borough Council's strategic moves. The borough now has access to an additional 1,327 parking spaces in the commercial district. That's 206 during peak business hours that were not available before. And again, that's 1,327 total parking spaces that are now available to borough residents during off-peak hours. So again, I think that the results speak for themselves. The Parking Task Force, along with Borough Council, have been very successful in accomplishing the goals and objectives that were set for that Parking Task Force. We will be communicating to the Parking Task Force that Borough Council has future objectives and goals. They're going to shift away from the Parking Task Force and move into new initiatives in 2022. And we will again be reaching out to those individuals. Many of them had already dedicated their time on other boards and commissions and the Comprehensive Plan Task Force. So we will again be asking them to dedicate their time to the borough because they are a great resource. So in front of you this evening, if so inclined, is a motion to approve Resolution 2021-33, which will dissolve the Parking Task Force.
I'll make that motion. Barton?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
As everyone knows, Ms. Elam has been elected to Borough Council. She will be sworn in on January 3rd. Ms. Elam has served on the Planning Commission, the Human Relations Commission, and the Parking Task Force over the last couple of years. While we will miss all of her guidance and management in those roles, we are looking forward to her role as Borough Council member. She does, though, need to formally resign from her other positions. So on your agenda this evening is to approve the resignation of Stacey Elam from the Human Relations Commission, the Parking Task Force, and the Planning Commission.
I'll make that motion. Sokolowski?
I'll second it, Tutino.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. The last item on new business is consider approving the second addendum to the employment agreement for the borough manager for years 2022 to 2025, and I will refer this to Mr. Peters.
Thank you, President Leonard. You have convinced Ms. Checo to stay for 4 more years. So the addendum that's before you is for a 4-year contract. It also provides terms for salary and bonus and things like that. I have reviewed it with you internally, and I know it is acceptable to you. So tonight, all that's before you is a formal vote in public.
So we'd be asking for a motion to approve the second addendum to the employment agreement for the borough manager for years 2022 to 2025.
I'll make my last motion. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ike. Thank you, Kathleen. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. It is an honor to serve Borough Council, the mayor, and all of the residents of Conshohocken, along with our wonderful, wonderful team of administrators who make the impossible possible every day. So thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Me, Steph.
I know that everyone in council is very grateful that you will be with us for another 4 years because we so do appreciate everything you do. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone this evening for public comment? Good evening.
Good evening, Richard Kosich, 227 East Hector Street. I just want to take this time to publicly acknowledge Mr. Bob Stokely here, thank him for his years of service to his community, even though he wasn't my council member. I know he was hardworking and well-liked, and again, it's sort of bittersweet, I know, because this is his last meeting, but I just want to publicly acknowledge that we really appreciate it. Same goes with Ike Griffin. This is, I believe, this is his last meeting, and just want to say we really appreciate all the years of service you've given to our community, and we wish you well, and we'll be in touch. We live right down the street, so I hope to bump into you. We'll go out, and same with Bob, same thing.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening for public comment? Okay. Mayor Aronson?
Yes, the Borough has been bursting with holiday events the past 2 weeks, so I just want to recap a few of them for our residents. Our community center staff hosted the annual holiday senior lunch last week. I was honored to join our council members to help serve food and to catch up with our residents. A big thank you to our local restaurants who provided the food, and we certainly look forward to seeing our seniors again in the new year. We also had Santa around town last weekend, which was put on by our fire department and visits every street in the borough. While Santa loves waving and posing for pictures with residents, he also collected toys for local families in need that the fire department will be distributing this month. We also had our annual Winter Wonderland at the community center with Santa, the Grinch, gingerbread houses, a bounce house, and lots of great food. Thank you to Lauren and her team for organizing the event every year. It's always one of my favorites. And finally, I personally want to thank Bob and Ike for the longtime service to the borough. I've learned so much from the both of you. It has been a real honor to get to work with you both these past 4 years. I know you'll both stay connected to us and active within the borough. On behalf of myself and our residents, thank you both for your decades of work to make Conshohocken a wonderful place to live. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yaniv. Mr. Stokely?
Just want to wish everybody a safe and happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Ms. Barton?
I don't have anybody kicking me now. Except for Tina, maybe. I wish you both well.
Thank you.
We will miss you. Thank you for making me the senior member now. But anyway, happy holidays to everyone, and a healthy one.
Thank you, Anita. Tina?
Just happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I wish everyone in our community a safe and mask up for the holidays.
Thank you. Kathleen?
Same thing for me. Happy holidays to everybody, and everybody decorated your houses. You did a great job. It was a real pleasure to ride around town to see it all. Thank you.
Thank you. Ike?
Man.
Mikey! I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and many more, and keep Conshohocken going straight up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ike. Mr. Tina?
Happy holidays.
Okay, thank you. With that, I will say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and please, everyone, stay safe, and we will see you in the new year. Meeting adjourned.